Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we have a mission to wake the world up to what is possible. And here today to help me with that mission are some of the authors of a new book that we have coming out. It's called Wealth Codes: Sacred Strategies for Abundance. OMG, you guys, this topic is so much fun. This is our second interview. And so I did one yesterday and we had so much fun talking about all of these things. And so I wanted to just say a ginormous thank you to Jen Pisano, who is the lead author of this new book. And Jen, you have brought together a stellar author cast of experts who are talking about abundance and wealth in all of the ways. And that is one of the missions of this book. You know, wealth is not just about money. It is, but it is about so much more than that. And I appreciate you and your mission and your energy and your inspiration and just how you show up in the world to just shower all of us with your love. So Jen, thank you for that. The book, for the first time, we've got a book separated into categories, and the ladies that you're about to meet today will tell you what their category is and about their chapter. But this book is in 5 categories. You're going to be learning about wealth, money, relationships, freedom, vitality, and spirituality. All of the different ways we can build wealth in our lives. Oh my goodness, it's so amazing. Ladies, how are you doing today?
Great.
Wonderful.
Welcome. I'm super happy to have you all here. I have Atlantis Wolf with me. She is a shamanic life coach and the person you call when you're ready to begin a spiritual quest. Awesome. Hannah Chapman is the founder of X Squared Wealth Planning, where she empowers visionary entrepreneurs to build wealth with joy and ease. And I have Lulu Trevena with me. She's an award-winning author, artist, and quantum healing practitioner and founder of Live Life with Wonder. She's passionate about shifting the societal narrative about women and age. Yeah, this is going to be a fun conversation today. Okay, so Atlantis, you're first up today. Tell us about your amazing chapter.
Hello, Laura. Thank you so much. My chapter is chapter 21. It's called Invisible Allies: How to Never Feel Alone Ever Again. And I am heading up the spirituality chapter. My chapter is about that connection that we all have. We may have forgotten, but we all have with spiritual realms. That could be with power animals, it could be with dragons, it could be with ancestors, it could be with the spirit of a tree, the spirit of a lake, the spirit of a mountain. And my job is to connect people to those spiritual realms.
Oh my God, how perfect is it to start this conversation off with the spiritual section so that all of you understand what you're about to get in this book is not traditional. It is other level. It is holistic. It is alternative. It is amazing. Okay, so why, Atlantis, are my spiritual connections going to enhance my wealth? Give me the connection.
So the connection is alchemy. So the alchemy of abundance is to understand I have everything I need to create everything I want. But to do that, you want to connect with your higher purpose, your higher power, however you want to say that. You want to surrender to the bigger design. So when you want something, I want a Corvette, the universe says, that's really not the best choice for you. What you really need is this, and I'm going to give you this. So by moving that alchemy into what do I really need? I need a safe vehicle that's going to take me around the country and pull my airstream. All of a sudden, magically, things come into your life. And the way that you do that is to connect with the invisible world, to connect with that greater design. We don't walk around saying, I wonder where I fit into the greater design of the world. It's a little hidden from us. It's something we can only access through our heart. We feel our purpose. We feel we're supposed to be connected to people. We feel a calling. And in order to really get into that, you surrender to that bigger design and realize you have thousands and thousands and thousands of helpers helping you to reach your goal. And so any goal that you have, you can be helped with.
So I think you just said something important about, we can't always see this. We can feel it. So for somebody who isn't used to feeling that we know they are, we can listen to what they're saying from the outside. We can watch their behavior from the outside. And I think sometimes as healers can see it before someone else sees it. What would you say to somebody who is feeling it, but how is that showing up? How will they know?
That is a beautiful question. And I get that a lot. And because it's easy. In other words, if you feel like you are upstream all the time, you're just pushing against life and nothing is easy for you, nothing's working out for you, your relationships aren't working out, the house you picked out is not going to close. If everything you feel like is not working out and for you, what you think you want, that's the key. The key at that moment is to say, this isn't easy. If it was something that I'm in alignment with my heart, my purpose, my soul, if it's easy, then you're being supported. If it's not easy, it's time to pause and look around and sort of say, what is the path? What is the easiest path for me to meet the goal? That's a good place to start.
Nice. Yeah. And everyone needs to start with those steps. I thank you for that. All right, you guys, stay tuned for more from Atlantis. I'm going to move over to Lulu now. Tell me about your amazing chapter, Lulu.
Thanks, Laura. Nice to be here with you, ladies. My chapter is in the freedom section, and it's chapter 15, and it's called Beyond Sorry, Communication Mastery for Expanded Relationship Joy. And what my chapter is about how we often fall into traps of bad communication, and then when something goes unhealed, how we carry that forward, and how most of us do want to come into a meeting place of feeling seen and heard by each other, both the recipient and the person giving the information. So in my chapter, I talk about a different scenario that happens, and you may really relate to that because it may have happened to you. And often what we go into as humans is we want to be righteous about our position, or we also want to go into major justification why something happened. So my chapter works you through a way to restore any communication that may have happened.
Guilty for trying to defend myself in a heated conversation. Yes. Listen, I want to tell you just how beautiful I thought your chapter was and how brave I thought it was. And I also thought when I read it, wow, everybody needs this chapter to read it, but also to think about where they are in their lives as it relates to what you're talking about, because the I'm sorry, that's for everybody. And depending on your circumstance, right? What inspired you to pick that topic?
I would say a gamut of situations that had happened in relation to that, being shouted, "I'm sorry" at me, as if a shouted "I'm sorry" works for anyone. And how we use sorry as a throwaway line. I was kind of tired of hearing that. And specifically with women tend to apologize all the time for everything they've said, done. It's just like I'm sorry. It just goes on. So I wanted to go deeper into, if we do feel the remorse from what's happened, how can we then repair? And that's the only place that we can repair. And most of we have experiences that have hurt us, and we have pains, and we also have a lot of communication that has hurt us, and we carry that. So if we unravel that a bit, was what I wanted to delve in. And I myself felt like I was diving in quite deep, and I hope it supports many people.
Oh my goodness, using "I'm sorry" as a throwaway line. Talk about that just a little more.
It's nearly just sits on the tip of our tongue, I think. Like, we're supposed to say it with no actual true meaning behind it. Like, it doesn't come with a felt expression. So yeah, just watch. I want, the listeners and the watchers to think, how often do I do that? And try to catch yourself. Do I just quickly go into automatic pilot? Oh, I'm sorry. And there's no actual felt experience. So if you're going to use the words, I think you need to drop into your body and really feel how that feels. And are you really showing some sort of remorse and empathy for the situation, both for you and the other person, and then offering compassion around that?
Yes, beautiful. Y'all are going to want to read all of these amazing chapters for reasons like this, just to move you deeper onto your journey in a way that you get to live an extraordinary life. This is one of those places where there's so much opportunity to heal, but it's awareness. And these authors are giving you chapters that are gifts of awareness. And I know that yours was for me also. I really had to gut check myself, like, whoa, did I just say "I'm sorry" with absolutely nothing behind that, because it was some weird habitual thing that comes out of my mouth when I feel like, fill in the blank. So I think it was a big deal. Thank you, Lulu. And all right, you guys, stay tuned for more from Lulu. We're going to move on to Hannah. Hannah, tell us about your amazing chapter.
Well, my chapter is chapter 5, which you didn't know this before, Laura, but
Uh-oh.
5 is literally my favorite number.
Oh, good.
I am at like fives all over the place, right? So when I saw that, I was like, oh, how special. And my title is Light Up Your Desires to Exponentially Grow Your Wealth and Build a Life That You Love. And what was really coming through when I was writing this chapter was the idea and like the evidence that I have of how closely your business and your money, like lighting up your desires in your business, will help you to make more money and to help more people. Um, and as I was really like exploring this topic of how I've done it in my own life and seeing how it's happened, for all the people around me as well, it's that, as you follow your desires, the money is actually a result, and it's a side effect of following your deepest and truest why in your business. It's not it's not the input, it's the output. Um, and so how do we get there? How do we, take the steps necessary to connect with that why and then align with it and allow it to expand?
I resonate very deeply with this topic as really the foundational thing that I did to jumpstart my amazing journey and the business that I'm in right now. And that includes a lot of wealth, not just business and money wealth. It includes relationships that improved and other things. And I think, we're taught to pay attention to everyone else's desires, besides our own. Like, where does that ever happen? It didn't happen for me until I was well into adulthood. I woke up and I thought, oh, what do I even want? I didn't know. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sure you come across a lot of people like that. Tell me more about that. How do we connect with that
Yeah.
desire, when we haven't in decades?
Yeah, and it's so interesting because I'll see it when people are trying to create an offering or serve clients, right? They're out there looking for, what can I do? How can I create a business? I want to create a business, but I don't know exactly what I should do. Or, I want to serve these clients, but I need to ask them what they want. And while there's some validity in that, in business in general, if that's where you're starting, you're always being reactionary. And so instead, if you go inside, And I love that we're all talking about like how you feel so much, because that's truly, you know, dropping into your body, listening to your higher self, really getting into what is it that matters most to me. That's where, you know, you can start to uncover that why, and you can uncover what it is that you want to do in the world, the impact that you want to make in the world. And then you start building off of that rather than, you know, from my perspective, um, you know, being a wealth advisor, creating my own firm, you know, I could just take any client that comes to me with a little bit of money, right? And yeah, sure, I can help you. That's easy, but that doesn't light me up. That doesn't allow me to fully serve the people that I want to serve if I'm just letting the world, you know, give things to me, not in the sense where, you know, I'm like pushing things away, but, you know, just being reactionary rather than I want to serve these people because it connects with my heart. And that's where I can create the business that I love.
Yeah, it's important to protect the foundational energy around who you're bringing into your world. That is going to have a result. I think all of us here, definitely in this Zoom, but all of us healers also are paying more attention to that. When in the beginning of business, I said yes to everybody. It didn't matter who it was. I'm like, yes, clients, clients, clients. And then I learned that lesson really fast. You know, and what is that lesson? Well, there might have been some people I didn't want to work with, and there was reasons for that, and it was becoming toxic. And that is not worth any amount of income, you know? Okay, Hannah, thank you for that. And this is so perfect because this is going to slide into this next question that I have for all of you. Lulu, I'm going to start with you for this one. So along the lines of that, income, money, you know, when we think about wealth, many people think money immediately. That's the connection they make to this word wealth. But wealth is so much more than money. Tell me why it's important to redefine this.
Yeah, I was thinking about my chapter, and I was thinking my chapter is in freedom, but I'm talking about you know, good communication and mastery of that. And it could have fit into relationship. It could have fit into vitality, because they all interconnect. They weave together for the whole tapestry of our life. So when we're talking about, you know, having more abundance, or more of what aligns to what we call abundance, you know, abundance is different for every single human being. So when we define the different areas that there may be some sort of weakness or improvement needed, that's where we can take our attention to, and then, you know, learn new skills, learn new tools to support us. So, you know, wealth codes, you know, I guess the term wealth, of course, we relate that to money, but you know, don't you feel I feel wealthy when I can be on vacation with my feet up and look out at the ocean. That feels very wealthy. Yes, I'm there and I've had to pay money to get there, but just in the experience of the moment is where we feel wealth in our beingness. So this is such a beautiful book, and you know, every chapter probably could intermingle with every other chapter. And so we want to support the readers to realize that there's ways in each of these areas of your life that you can get improvement.
Definitely. And without dropping money on a vacation, I can walk a half a mile into the woods and feel that way.
True.
And so that, you know, you're just making me think, well, some people really, they live near the beach. They can walk there. They can take their little chair, set it up, put their feet up and be like, ah, and it's the feeling, you know? That is, yeah, that's awesome. It's really good to remember that. Hannah, for you, same question. Why is it important that we redefine this?
So I am actually in the money section. And, you know, it makes sense that I do help people build more monetary wealth. That's part of it. But it's really important to expand the definition, because when you build wealth with the intention to, what I like to say is, just sit on it like a hoard. You're not sharing it with anyone. That's not creating more good in the world. And so when I redefine prosperity for myself, it's, what are you allowing to flow to and through you? It's not about how much can you collect and hold. It's about how much can you allow in and how much can you then allow out as well. And what that turns into is that expansion, that, connecting with your deeper why, connecting with the clients that you love, connecting with the service that you love, meaning service for your community, service for others, right? Connecting to that spot inside of you. When you create the business that expands, that makes more revenue, that allows you more income, that allows you more freedom, you are then able to give more to others. And so I think our definition of wealth really needs to become more about, like, how much are you creating in the world? How much good are you putting out into the world from your own heart? And that, yes, it comes with a price tag. The more money you make, the more you can put out into the world. But no matter what you have, you can still do that and be and feel wealthy in your service.
And you hit on something so important. It's the flow. And we're going to talk about energy in a couple of minutes here. That's another question. But in terms of money, and I happen to have written a chapter in this book. I don't always do that, but I am also in the money section. And how I wanted to tie it in for people was, it's about feng shui in my chapter. It's about your space. It's about the flow. And coming back to flow, I have a mentor that says, all money problems are circulation problems. It's gotten stopped up. You mentioned the word hoard, or, just hold or hoard, or, you get it, so you keep it, and you are gripping so tightly and you don't want to put it back out there. Best thing I ever did that you're making me think about, Hannah, was have a moment where I celebrated paying my bills. And I shifted my energy. I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so lucky to be able to afford to pay this bill today and feed another family where that income is coming into someone else's home, and that flow, right? Love this topic. Okay, so Atlantis, how about you on this one? What do you want to add to why we're redefining this?
So to pull together a lot of things that were said, I feel that defining wealth as money is playing small. I feel like you're limiting yourself if you just associate wealth and money, because it's so much more than that. And if you can't see that, it's time to sort of step back and say, what do I really want? Because often we say, I want $225,000. Okay, for what? Well, I don't know. I just feel like that's the number. Think about it a different way. I want enough money to pay my bills, to pay my college tuition for my kids, to take 3 vacations, and to put away $500 a month. That is a much more aligned and in your heart way to bring that abundance and prosperity into your life, and to sort of go more with talking about flow. I think of money as your heart. And I know that this is a lot of heart based and heart thinking, but blood comes into your heart, blood flows out of your heart. If your heart was hoarding the blood and saying, I don't want to give blood to the liver. I'm angry at the liver because it drank a bottle of wine last night. I'm not going to give it anything. We would get all messed up inside. Our heart is our teacher. Our heart is our best mechanism for abundance. It just goes and goes and goes. If we're being a jerk, if we're being awesome, if we're doing what we should or not, our heart keeps going, keeps flowing. And it's a wonderful way to remember equal, bring it in, fill your cup, and then give the overflow to the next person, because we all fill each other's cups. But if you're holding on to everything, it's messing up the circulation for all of us. We're meant to be all flowing together. And, you know, it's like all going down the river in rafts together. It's more fun together.
I love it. I love it. You're making me think of one of my favorite affirmations. And really, it's gone beyond affirmation for me, but I always have enough money, time, energy, and resources to generously take care of myself and everyone I love. And that it feels good, right? Like the words sound good. The words have a feel to it because of what you just said, Atlantis, because the flow is outside of me all of a sudden too. And that's bigger. That's more expansive. This topic, don't get me started. Okay. So, yeah, please.
I just want to highlight the give from the overflow. You know, women tend to, and this is generalizing, women tend to give a lot, and often it's not from the overflow, it's from their depleted place. Mm-hmm. So it's a good reminder that, you know, you are just as valuable. You are valuable. So you need to have it enough for yourself. And then the overflow is how we support the world, support each other. But if you're working from a depleted place, you're actually not going to be in alignment to the increasing. So make sure that you are full first, mm-hmm. in a place that feels really good for yourself.
Yes, definitely. Serving from an overflow is a really important concept for people who give for a living, which is most of the healer friends that I know that, you know, they signed up for that track. So it's super important. And this could get into like an entire conversation about proper self-care and, you know, nourishing yourself. But yes, Lulu, thank you. All right. So here comes this energy question for all of you. Hannah, I'm going to start with you for this one. When we really embrace the fact that everything is energy, we have to embrace a more holistic approach to healing and wealth and abundance, right? Including the healing that creates abundance. So for you, why holistic? Talk more about the approach, the importance of that approach.
So this is almost revolutionary in my space, where if you just look at numbers, if you just look at data, if you just look at charts and graphs, that's great, right? Sure, that's all numbers. We can make logical decisions from looking at charts and graphs and seeing, yeah, if you want to do that thing, you save this much money. What that doesn't honor is how a person makes decisions about money, the money blocks that they grew up with, the things that they have to deal with on the inside in order to make those financial decisions. And so as we grow in understanding about just how important it is to feel aligned and to make decisions from a place of like where you feel good, that starts to really direct what it is that our goals even are. So when I talk about being, you know, holistic with my planning and holistic with my clients, it's not about how much money do you want to have when you're 55? What year do you want to retire? It's not about that. It's about what do you want to do with your life? And we start there. We start with what impact do you want to have? What do you want to experience? What do you want to leave for your children? You know, like all of those pieces are inside. That's how we feel. And that's, you know, starts to connect again with your heart and what the money is going to do for you, for your family, for the world. And then we can look at data, and then we can look at charts and graphs. And suddenly it looks expansive and it looks like opportunity and it looks like I can do these things rather than, you know, coming from a place of, okay, I just got to save more. I just got to make more money. That doesn't feel abundant. That doesn't feel prosperous. And so we want to get to that place where it feels good inside to be achieving the goals that actually connect with our heart.
Yeah, rather than coming from a place of fear that's constricted and icky and tight and choky. Yeah. Awesome way to start this conversation about holistic. Atlantis, what do you want to add to that?
Well, my business is called Sano Totem, which is Latin for heal the whole. And it's actually my whole business is built around not just helping people out of pain, physical pain, but connecting. Is that physical pain a trapped emotion? Is it connected to an event that they experienced as a child? Is it something that they inherited? You have to look at all of it if you want all of it to heal. And when you bring all these pieces together, it allows for that expansion. In other words, if I'm just limited to get me out of shoulder pain, I could get you out of shoulder pain, but do you want to know a little deeper? Why do you accumulate pain in that area? Why are there trapped emotions around the fact that you didn't want to play tennis, but your dad made you play tennis, and now you created this injury in your shoulder so you don't have to play tennis? How about if we release that trapped emotion? How about if we get you to enjoying tennis instead of being made to play it to the point where you didn't like it anymore? Now you've expanded that experience for the person, and it goes beyond, can you get the pain out of my shoulder? And it's moved into, can you heal my childhood, my relationship with a sport, my relationship with my dad, and how I fit into the world? And maybe you end up being somebody who does rec coaching for tennis because you renewed your love for it. So without looking at the whole, if you look at things just in that microscope, again, you're playing so small, you're missing that opportunity for healing so much more in your life and even in other lives. And it's just the beginning.
Yes, I love listening to all of you talk about this. This is, listeners, I hope you're really feeling into the opportunity you have to take everything to another level, to possibly have one of the best breakthrough moments of your life, because you just didn't know really what was possible before, going there. Your tennis thing is cracking me up. I'm like, how did you know? No, I didn't play tennis. It was another sport, but yeah, like, oh my goodness, the lifelong patterns we create due to moments that we had like that. Holy moly. Okay. Lulu, you're going to wrap us up today on this one. Talk to me about this in terms of holistic. Why is that approach important?
So I've probably said this before in another podcast with you, Laura, but I always like to add the W at the word holistic, because it needs to have the word whole, not the starting with not H, which makes a whole. So, holistic needs to have the word whole in it. So when we work with any of the healers, when we work with someone, we start with what's predominantly aggravated for that person. And then, as Atlantis said, we start working back along the timeline, the thread, however you like to speak about it. And, people want to feel full, I think, full in life, full in joy, full in love. And we just need to work, little bit by little bit to make the whole. So this journey with energy, with flow, with, the wholeness, we just start somewhere. And when we get a little bit of a result, sometimes that's when people step out and they need to keep going, because it is a consistent type of thing. If we use the tennis analogy, you don't just play tennis, one weekend and you're, going to play some tournament. It's that continuous type of thing. So with the holistic approach, start somewhere, rest when you need to, look at another section, work with people that are recommended and have done their work as well, have walked their talk and walked the path. And yeah, be very gentle with yourself. Gentle is my newest, bestest word. We've been taskmasters for so long on ourselves, and now we need to embrace and be gentle with the path that we're moving forward on.
Yes, that's a beautiful, I think that's a beautiful note to stop on today. You all have heard so many beautiful nuggets from these authors today. And before we wrap up, I want to say thank you to all of you authors for not just saying yes to this and you know, stepping up and writing your chapter, but doing it in a way that it's infused with your magical energies, your holistic way of looking at the world and looking at wealth. And these books, the stories in the books are phenomenal and vulnerable and real. And you're changing lives by doing that. And I thank you for stepping up like that and doing writing like that. But you're also offering master strategies based on a lifetime's worth of training and work and dedication to the healing path. And I thank you deeply for, you know, saying, hey, yeah, that's going to be my life. And now I'm going to pay forward to people and help them. I mean, and that is what this community is to me. So thank you all, ladies, for doing that. Thank you so much for what you do in the world and for being here today. Thanks.
Thanks, Laura.
Thank you, Laura.
Yes.
All right, so I know that you are all, you know, buzzing with some of these ideas. So drop down into our show notes, and I've hooked you up with the authors' websites. Take a little exploration after today. See what they're up to, because it's a lot of awesomeness. And our authors are very generously there for you all to support you, to answer a question about something you heard today, take you to a next step in your journey in any of the ways that you heard today. So I thank them for being there like that, and you can connect with them today. And listeners, also remember that we have a really cool book launch party coming up on August 26th, which is just after the book will be launching on Amazon. We're going to be there 10 a.m. Eastern on the Brave Healer Productions Facebook page. You can come and listen to all of our authors share their wisdom about wealth codes, strategies, sacred strategies for abundance. And if you happen to be listening after that August 26th, well, hop over to Amazon. You can grab your copy of the book. And lastly today, everyone, remember, your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it's time to be brave. See you next time, everyone. Bye, ladies.